Seth Rollins and turns go together like Braun Breaker and Baby O. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you, and I'm joined by none other than the man who runs the WNBA land. You can also catch him on Denise Salcedo's SmackDown After Show. Robin Lundberg, how's it going, Robin?
What up? What up? That was an interesting early morning edition of Raw.
It was, man. I know that everybody coming out of this show, especially due to what went down to the build-up leading up to SummerSlam, is kind of having that question of, was Seth legitimately injured, especially with all these different reports coming out? With you being somebody who was at SummerSlam and experienced that crazy moment, what are your thoughts coming out of this show?
Well, because SummerSlam legitimately fooled me, I have the doubt and I'm a skeptic now, right? I mean, the way that they pulled off that Saturday Night Main Event swerve, I didn't even think about it after the fact. I guess that's why I got fooled, because it was done so well in the moment, where they did the quick finish with LA Knight. And having done sports broadcasting as long as I've done it, it looked like an injury that would happen in the middle of a sporting event. So I just was like, he's done. He's on the shelf. I don't need to think about it anymore. I wasn't looking for clues or tea leaves. With that said, I mean, the running that back seems a little ambitious. What would be the benefit? Would it be like a CM Punk Seth Rollins match, and then Braun Breaker comes and interferes and costs CM Punk, proving that it was a ruse all along? I am inclined to think this time that he's actually injured, because it did feel so abrupt again, but so did the LA Knight finish. But, it felt like the vision had just come together. I mean, the double turn from Paul Heyman at WrestleMania into this, that's only been 6 months or whatever the case is. I didn't expect it to happen that quickly. So when it did go down, and Braun Breaker did hit that spear, and then Bronson Reed hits the tsunami after it, I'm like, all right, what happened? How did we get here so fast? And an injury would make sense there.
See, and that's the same reason why I tend to lean towards the same thinking that you have. The fact that it became so abrupt. You usually see storylines like this, especially during the Triple H booking, where his trademark has pretty much been this long term, several month storyline thing that you get to pay off down the road. The fact that we're getting this so abruptly and out of nowhere tends to have it to where I tend to give a lot of credence to that injury. With Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed pairing up together, where do you think that they go from here?
Yeah, I mean, Braun Breaker is set for the big singles push. I think he's got to be near the top of the candidates to win the Royal Rumble. I think at this point, but it's interesting because there's a lot of different directions. It's like, where does War Games go? It kind of seemed like that faction was obviously going to be a part of it, and then you look like, where's Roman Reigns? I thought Roman Reigns might be headed to a Seth Rollins feud, but now I'm wondering if they're thinking Jey Uso Roman Reigns at some point down the line, or he's back involved with the bloodline. So it feels like there's a lot of different lines cast right now, but you can't really see what fish you're going to get pulled. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, I would expect to be in for a big push in the absence of Seth Rollins, but I don't know if it's going to completely take the place of where he was. And now you got to think that CM Punk probably winds up with that title sooner rather than later.
There was rumors, prior to today's show, where the rumor has it that it was supposed to be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the world title at Saturday night's main event, and they had this War Games, team up that was kind of involving Brock Lesnar, potentially Austin Theory. Which once they said Austin Theory was going to be involved, I immediately thought that this has to be bogus. But but these rumors were coming out, and now with Seth possibly being injured and the world title, being up for grabs in War Games, I think it kind of lends to the direction of possibly having the MFTs and the Wyatts in War Games now. I think now with Seth Rollins being out of the equation, I think that's probably the direction that we're going to go to.
Yeah, I mean, they had that confrontation the other day, and what did they say? You put lipstick on a pig, you put face paint on a Tonga. Like, that's kind of it worked well enough, I guess, on that SmackDown. That's not the selling point for the War Games card, then, though. Like, it would have to be something else beyond that. Generally, for a show like War Games, you're thinking a big collective of the biggest stars, and while that match makes sense, it's certainly not going to headline our main event.
I think the main event for that show now, with Rollins being out of it, I'm thinking it's going to be Cena versus Dominic. I think that'd be the perfect opportunity for them to have that match take place too, due to the fact that it's also being in San Diego, Dominic's hometown. I think that that's probably the direction that we're going to go, right?
I mean, the Cena run has. I've almost had the heel turn Men in Black mind
Yeah.
erased at this point because he's having the best matches of his career down the stretch. The one against Cody at SummerSlam was a banger, and that I mean, I think Triple H said it well, like kind of a love letter to pro wrestling match with AJ Styles the other day at Crown Jewel, which was kind of Listerine for the rest of Palooza mess. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to feel good about the Cena farewell when that wasn't the case. Not that long ago.
Cena decided, hey, this we're gonna get rid of this heel turn. I'm gonna decide to put my working boots on, and we're gonna sit there and get to work. But Robin, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, of course. Robin Lundberg over on YouTube. I've got the Ring Rascals channel with my kids there too. And you can catch me on Sirius XM, Busted Open, Mad Dog Sports Radio sometimes, as well as like you said, Denise Salcedo's SmackDown post show. I think. Oh, and I run the website, Women's Fast Break on SI, Indiana Fever on SI. Lots of things going on all the
A
time.
man of many hats, and you can find the links to all of those in the description, guys.